Hey guys, Tyler here once again, this time to talk about the Huns faction in Total War Attila. The Huns are the most iconic faction in Attila, as they were the catalyst that ushered in the era of bloodshed the game focuses on. They're nomadic people that move around the world taking what they need and raising the rest. The Huns are the only faction in Attila that cannot capture cities for their own. They must remain in their mobile hordes as they raise a path across Eurasia. That said, the Huns' strength is in utilizing their hordes, and their strategy relies heavily on remaining mobile and deadly. The Huns' culture and faction traits are tailored to their playstyle and synergize well with the Huns' frightening tactics. Their cultural trait, Scourge of God, represents one of the Huns' greatest strengths, their ability to make their foes fear them. Their faction trait, Horseman of the Apocalypse, grants 4 bonuses, one for each rider, that encourage an aggressive, dominating playstyle. The Huns are built to be on the offensive, so from the very beginning of the game, look to be capitalizing on the weaknesses of those around you. During the very early stages of the game, your focus should be on securing reliable sources of food and income. Some easy solutions to this are to construct buildings such as goat herders and communal ground in your encampments. Building up your encampments early on in the game is a worthy investment of your starting funds. Frankly though, the best solution will often be to bully and besiege weaker factions into giving you the resources you need. Your first major decision as playing the Huns is whether you should go east or west from your starting location. To the immediate west are weaker barbarian nations, while to the east are many of the other roaming hordes. These eastern factions will act as your rivals throughout much of the campaign, so consider destroying some of them early. Build up power in the east before taking on the formidable empires to the south and west. Time will wear them down. Find an isolated nomadic power such as the Ostrogoths or one of the lesser kingdoms such as the Antians to conquer early. Mobilize your hordes together and only engage in fights you're sure you can win. The Huns in particular want to avoid unnecessary casualties, as it's more difficult for them to replenish units. If someone is willing to give you a hefty offering for peace, don't be afraid to take it. Accept the tribute and move your hordes on to the next victim. Once you've raised a settlement or two and have a bulk of resources to hold yourself over, your next focus should be to expand your hordes. You should do your best to have 4 hordes by the year 400, and then use them to continue carving a warpath of least resistance. You should also be doing your best to cultivate skilled generals, as they'll significantly increase the effectiveness of your hordes. Attila's coming of age should be a crucial turning point in your campaign, as he is a powerful general that embodies the Huns' strengths. At this point, you should be comfortable in your ability to reign terror over your foes, and you should be about ready to take on your first major empire. Examining the political landscape throughout the first part of the game will give you valuable information about which empire seems most ripe for the picking. Western Rome is an obvious choice, as it will be dealing with more problems than it can handle already. It's possible, though, that Eastern Rome or the Sassanid Empire have begun to crumble and may be better targets. This is especially true if you've opted to travel east or south in the early part of the game. When you're engaging a civilized army, do your best to fight them in the field whenever possible. Raiding and sacking border cities is a good way to draw out fortified enemies, and can provide you with the resources you need to set up a siege. While sieges are doable, the Huns excel on the field and can easily outmatch larger forces through intelligent use of cavalry. The Huns' primary tactics in combat rely on their horsemen both for offensive and defensive purposes. Cavalry units can perform devastating charges in combat and then quickly retreat before the enemy can properly respond. Similarly, cavalry archers can fire upon the enemy while keeping a healthy distance between them by firing while on the move. These units should make up the bulk of your armies throughout the game. While the Huns are reliant on their cavalry and archers, you may prefer to include other units, such as spearmen, to lock in with the enemy. If you do, use your cavalry to flank and attack the enemy from behind. If a pitched battle is unavoidable, heavy infantry will allow you to go toe-to-toe with the larger armies of other empires. The Huns also have bonuses to levied units. Before a siege or large battle, don't be afraid to use whatever types of units you're able to levy from the surrounding area. The Huns are a hit-and-run team. Their focus on cavalry makes them extremely effective at deciding when and where the battle is fought. The skirmishing strength of their missile cavalry also allows them to wear down enemies without engaging in a pitched battle. Keeping in line with the Huns' offensive nature, harassing the enemy before they can set up their units will make your cavalry charges much more effective, and keeping their infantry on the move will tire them out and expose them. It's important that you don't keep your cavalry in long engagements, particularly if the enemy has spearmen. Use your archers to whittle down elite enemy infantry, while melee cavalry isolate and destroy weaker units. While the Huns are at a bit of a natural disadvantage during sieges due to their reliance on cavalry, there are still plenty of effective strategies that they can use. Before you begin a siege, be sure to recruit plenty of units of all kinds, as you won't be able to utilize your cavalry during the first half of the battle. Siege equipment of all kinds is obviously important, but focusing on catapults will allow you to quickly knock down a wall and send in your cavalry. Focus all of your artillery on a single section of wall or gate and try to create a breach large enough to send in a significant portion of your army. During a wall siege, send in your regular infantry on siege towers and ladders while keeping your cavalry in the reserve. They won't be very effective during this part of the battle, and they can easily be picked off by archers or artillery. Once you've cleared a path into the city for your troops, try to break your enemy while they retreat from the walls. A quick, decisive strike will be most effective, as you can now send in your horsemen to chase down the already worn defenders. The Huns are a fun, fast-paced, and aggressive team that embody many of the best aspects of the Total War series. For more news about the Huns and Total War Attila, stay tuned to IGN.